Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Let's get crafting. For this DIY, we're going to be using foam core board, foam squares, and some florals of your liking. All of my supplies are from the Dollar Tree. Now we are going to start by sketching on the letter for our last name, our monogram, and then we're going to cut it out with an X-Acto knife. Once that's all cut out, you're going to take your foam squares and start cutting them down to fit around the shape of the S. They don't have to be perfectly spaced on that foam core piece, just as long as you have something for your florals to be able to go into. This has such a high-end look, and these monogram wreaths are so expensive. We're going to make this for just a few bucks. Then I'm going to take my greenery and I'm going to follow along the shape of the S, making sure I don't compromise that shape, so that way it looks like the letter. So continue to fill in all of your next floral that are small, and then after that keep filling it in with all of your bigger florals until you have completely covered those foam pieces to make it look like the shape of the letter of your liking and your last name. Once you're all done with that, flip it over and add a piece of rope or twine to the back to be able to hang it up, and you're ready to display. Today is Friend Friday, one of my favorite crafting days of the whole week, where I come together with other friends and we allow you, the viewers, to hop along and see all of our projects. The link is down below my description box. Click it to the next crafter and then they will take you to the next until you've hopped all the way back around here to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Heidi Somble. I have 4 channels here on YouTube because I love it here that much. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you enjoy this video. This next DIY is super simple. I'm going to be taking one of these long signs from the Dollar Tree, some of these mini frames, and some knobs. Now I'm going to start by taking my heat gun and removing the sticker off of the back of the sign because it's already white, and that's going to save me a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my picture frames where I want them to be, spacing them out nicely on this bar that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to take my drill and just drill holes right on the bar where I mark those spots. Once I've got all of that dust cleaned off, I then went ahead and took my drill and put in the knobs onto the sign. And then I just screwed them in nice and tight to make sure everything was on there securely. Once I was all done doing that, I went ahead and came back in and painted the knobs and added a little bit more white onto that sign. I ended up not painting the back on this one because, again, it was already so white and perfect and ready to go for what I was looking for. Then I took some photos, but honestly you can put whatever you want in this frame. You can spell the words home or love, whatever you want, but I wanted to do some family photos for mine. I went ahead and put them inside the frames, and then on the inside of the backer I went ahead and glued a ribbon, put it all in there, fastened it all together, made sure the glue was holding that ribbon in place properly by gluing the ribbon to the frame. Once I was all done doing that and gluing that ribbon down and holding it in place, I went ahead and distressed my bar a little bit and hung up my pictures. If you missed my 10 on Tuesday video, I will link it at the end of this video and down below in my description box so you can go and check it out. But it is 10 high-end Dollar Tree DIYs that you can do all throughout this year. Go and check it out. I promise you'll have so much fun watching all of those new DIYs. This next DIY is going to be using rope, a wire trash can, and one of these lid covers you can put on your oven top. Start by taking the trash can and some wire cutters and cut all the way around along the same line on those wires until it's able to pop off cleanly. Once you get that off, you can then go ahead and start working with that mesh wire, stretching it out and forming it into a dome. We are going to be making a wire cloche jar that looks so high-end. These are sold for so much online at antique stores. I love a few different antique stores, and I saw some of these and thought, oh, there's no way I'm gonna pay $80 for one of those when I can make it for about $3 to $5. So here we are. I've got it all shaped and pushed in and nice and flattened the way I want it to be. And then I'm going to bring in some wire and just kind of thread it through to make sure that wire stays all in place, and then I tied it in a knot. Now I wanted to, again, go off of something that I saw as inspiration on one of my favorite farmhouse online stores. And I'm going to take my Big Bite. This is the larger version of my Crop-A-Dile. I'll link it down below if you're interested. This is great because it lets me get in further on certain spots. I went ahead and punched a hole into the lid on this glass jar lid that I had on hand, left over from another DIY. I glued on the wood knob at the top with some E6000 and hot glue. Put that all in place, and then I added a couple more holes with my Crop-A-Dile so that I can zip tie it to the top of my cloche, and then I took it outside to spray paint it. Now I'm going to go over to that pan that I showed earlier that had the rooster on it. It took me about 3 ropes to be able to go all the way around this. I didn't do the bottom, I just went all around the top parts where you'd see it. And once I was all done adding a little bit of rope to the top of that handle, it was ready to be displayed. For this next DIY, we're going to be using some of these books from the Dollar Tree. Friends, they sell these inspirational books for so much money. I hope that you have not purchased these when you can make them yourself. Start by picking up however many books you need for your inspirational word. Then with your craft knife, slit along where the book cover is and that first cover page. Now, depending on how rough you want it to be, sand off some of the extra, and then take some twine, wrap those books together, and tie it tight with a pretty bow on it, or a knot, whichever you prefer. Once you're all done getting your bow tied on there, at this point you can put whatever you want on these books. Your family name, a beautiful word to inspire. It's completely up to you. Or you can even leave them blank, and they are just so pretty to be able to put out in your decor, and it's the easiest DIY that costs almost pennies. You can also use old books that you were planning on donating. I always recommend using a book that you are not planning on reading anymore, because once it goes in here, it's not coming out. Then this is where it gets even easier. If you have a Cricut machine or a Silhouette, you can obviously cut out some vinyl letters, but the Dollar Tree has some rub-on transfers, and all you have to do is cut out the letters you want, take them with a popsicle stick, place them on the book, rub them on, and you have the most beautiful DIY for hardly any money. Friends, again, if I could convince you, don't ever buy these. These are so affordable, and I know so many people buy these for home decor. For this DIY, we are going to be using some of these glass jars. I picked them up at Target, but honestly, you can get these all over the place, and lots of them at the Dollar Tree, and then some rope from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 2 white nautical ropes and then 1 brown rope. So what I'm doing is I'm noticing that these need to be a certain length at the bottom, and I'm going to make a big oval shape because we're going to be making a glass jar basket to hold all of these in. I'm just going to continue to coil them around until I get to the end of that rope, and then I'm going to add on that second rope. I wanted to make sure that it's wide enough and that junction of those 2 ropes is at the bottom, and then I'm going to start coming and building up the side. Now I'm showing all the steps of this because I just want you to see exactly how I built it up the side where you can make your basket really strong. My biggest recommendation is make sure that you're massaging those ropes together every single time you put another bead of glue along that line. And then once you get those all going and you notice that it's getting stronger and stronger, this is the coolest thing. I'm going to actually put some handles on here without having to compromise the rope being cut. You can see that I pulled it out a little bit longer, and then I continued on my journey around. So now I've created 2 handles, and then where I stopped, I'm going to bring back in that darker rope, and I'm going to go around 2 more times, and it makes the coolest basket to be able to hold these glass jars. Now they sell these so expensively on sites like Pottery Barn. Friends, I made this for $3. Please know that you can have the most beautiful things in your home for hardly any money. Once the basket was all done, I added in my jars and whatever florals I wanted. I hope you felt inspired today by these high-end, affordable DIYs. They are so easy to make and have such a beautiful impact in your home. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one you like the most, and don't forget to enjoy the hop today. Thanks so much for stopping by, and until the next episode, bye friends.